Here we go. So, what is on the docket for this evening? So, I've got a Team Trios tournament in the Pioneer format. I'm playing the Pioneer seat. I have a wonderful team, Brian Ching, Paul Zhu, who are playing Modern and Legacy, respectively. We're rocking in there in the Pioneer seat, and I believe the deck I've decided to play is Aspiringspike's Mono G Karn. Karn in this case refers to Karn, the Great Creator. It's 4-mana Planeswalker from War of the Spark, so he has a static ability that says activated abilities of artifacts your opponents control can't be activated. This doesn't have a lot of utility in the Pioneer format, but what it does do is it's a 5 loyalty Planeswalker with a -2 that says you may choose an artifact card you own from outside the game or an exile, reveal that card, and put it into your hand. So Aspiringspike is a very intelligent and sort of switched-on deck builder in the Pioneer format especially, but also Modern, and sort of figured out that you can have a very powerful suite of silver bullets in your sideboard that you will have access to in Game 1, but also Game 2 and 3. Now, between Karn and then Vivien Arkbow Ranger, which has a -5 that says you may choose a creature card you own from outside the game, reveal it, and put it into your hand, you actually play an entire 15 slots that are 100% tutorable. So every single card in your sideboard is actually sort of included in your main deck, which means you don't get to sideboard, but we actually have a powerful linear plan, which I'll get to in a minute. More importantly, having access to Damping Sphere in Game 1 against a deck like Breach combo, Lotus Breach combo, is backbreaking in that matchup. And then it's not quite as good against the inverter decks. We do have things like Tormod's Crypt, which are situationally quite powerful. But generally speaking, this is much more powerful against some of the linear decks and some of the aggressive decks. So our main deck plan is a Nykthos Shrine to Nyx mono green devotion plan. So we've got the 8 1-drop elves, which are continually proving to be very powerful in the Pioneer format. Now we can ramp into 3-drop Jadelight Ranger, which has 2 green devotion pips and allows us to possibly gain some card advantage by picking up land cards, which can include Nykthos Shrine to Nyx. We've also got double pip All-Star Burning-Tree Emissary for very explosive turn 2s. We've got Wolfwillow Haven. This is a new card from Theros Beyond Death, which enchants a land and allows the tapped land to add an additional green, which has prompted us to add copies of Voyaging Satyr. So this is 2 mana for 1/2, has tap, untap, target land. So similar to Arbor Elf and Utopia Sprawl in the Modern format, we can use Voyaging Satyr and Wolfwillow Haven, or Voyaging Satyr and Nissa, who shakes the world, to generate excessive amounts of mana very quickly. Then Vivien Arkbow Ranger, in addition to having the -5 that lets us tutor for creatures out of our sideboard, which there are a few that are excellent. Her +1 puts 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 2 creatures. So you can split them 1 on 1 or put 2 on a creature. And then those creatures also gain trample until end of turn. So between all the things that we're actually playing here, we're putting a lot of green pips into play. We can use the Nykthos to generate gratuitous amounts of mana, and we have multiple payoffs. One is just playing a large Voracious Hydra, which is pretty decent in the format. We can play Vivien Arkbow Ranger, and then she can tutor out one of the very large, very powerful endgame creatures in the form of Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, or Emrakul, the Promised End. She's also able to fetch things like Walking Ballista, and then there's some more situational cards. But those are the sort of haymakers that you can use a lot of mana for. And then on top of that, we're able to play something like Karn, and Karn's able to get a large number of, again, toolbox cards, but then just generally powerful endgames. So my friend here poked at the fact that we weren't playing Mycosynth Lattice in this deck. It is, of course, not legal in the Pioneer format and no longer legal in the Modern format. We actually have a card here called God-Pharaoh's Statue. It's a 6-mana uncommon legendary artifact from War of the Spark, and it says spells your opponents can cast cost 2 more to cast. So there's a lot of matchups where it basically slows their gameplay into a crawl. From the point we cast this, which can be as early as turn 4, I think theoretically maybe you could do turn 3, but let's say turn 4. But turn 4 or 5, there is a good chance you're going to lock out up to half their hand and any cheap interaction they were planning on playing. is going to be particularly well stonewalled. So I played this to a 3-2 over the last 24 hours. I was fairly distracted during some of those leagues, so I don't feel great about the way I played them. The deck, on the other hand, felt very, very good. So we're going to hop into a Pioneer League here and see how she goes. This is, again, from Aspiringspike. I'll try to make sure to put his Twitter, Twitch, etc. in the description of the YouTube video. But this is a very, very powerful deck. And, again, one of those things to always be aware of is you don't have to have 5-0 a league to know that a deck is very, very good. This is one of the best decks that I've ever just picked up and had it felt good. I won multiple games on Mull to 5. Looks like we're on our way to Mull to 6 here. This is a medium to terrible poker hand, an almost acceptable Hearthstone hand, and a useless magic hand. So we're going to pull that. This is a little bit better. It's not great. I'm inclined to keep this on the draw in that it just has a reasonable number of tools that are going to launch us into the endgame. I'm going to send this Nissa Who Shakes the World packing here. Am I? Yeah, I think Karn is better against the swath of the metagame. So our game plan here is a little meh in terms of what this deck can put together. But we're going to be playing a turn 2 Wolfwillow Haven. Oh, nope, we did better. All right, so this game's actually going to be fairly explosive. And that's one of the things you can do with a deck like this is that you have such a high density of some of your effects, like turn 1 mana elves, etc., that you can occasionally just get really, really paid off by sticking with a medium hand. Hopefully we're not running into a Voracious Hydra here, although it does look like we might be running into a mirror match with Jesus on the other side. Okay. 2 Burning-Tree Emissaries. I got 2 emissaries, man. Good God. So our opponent's outdoing us on the mono green devotion front, which is going to make our turn 2, yeah, real awkward. Looks like we might just get beat up here. So play, draw, definitely very powerful when you're playing this game or this deck. So next turn we can play Burning-Tree Emissary into a 2/3 Voracious Hydra and pick off one of their creatures. I suppose I could have taken the line this turn of play Burning-Tree Emissary, but then I couldn't do anything else. So unfortunately, opponent on the play with Llanowar Elves on turn 1 might handle us here, but a good showing for the deck. And that our opponent is basically playing what we're playing. And they, wow. Well, definitely getting pretty aggressive here. They're going to crack in for 9. See if they split any of their counters onto the Llanowar Elf. They did not. All right, so we're going to be able to pick off their Llanowar Elf here, which is like not the greatest, but something. Fortunately, my Voracious Hydra is going to be nowhere near big enough. So if I use 1 mana for Elvish Mystic, I can then use Nykthos for triple green. Doesn't really get me anywhere, but looks super fancy. Oh no, I have the Wolfwillow Haven in play. This is why we're playing these games. I want to figure out what this deck can do. Now the question is, what is the relative value of Llanowar Elf versus having a 4/5 Hydra? Of allowing them to have Llanowar Elf versus myself having a 4/5 Hydra. So their creatures can just get bigger and bigger and kind of crush us here. So making a 4/5 Hydra is not particularly valuable in that they can just make their creatures both 5/5s and swing in. So I'm going to pick off their Llanowar Elf, just limit their mana ever so slightly. It's not great, but Got 7 mana off their Nykthos. Okay, so they're wishing. I would assume they're going to get Walking Ballista here. It's pretty aggressive use of their Vivien. But I'm not going to assume that my opponent doesn't know what they're doing in any way. Probably have more reps with the deck than I do. Plus they've got this sweet Cleopatra, the Almond Kitty display picture. Avatar. Avatar is the word I want. They did not go into their sideboard knowing what they wanted. Whoops. So, Ballista, Verdurous Gearhulk, and Questing Beast are their most likely pickups because they can't afford Ulamog or Emrakul. They only have 2 card types. If I introduce you to my friend Unworld Breach, well, if you check my YouTube VODs, my friend, you can see 2 different Urza decks that I've played with Underworld Breach. And I got to snag 4 copies of Grinding Station for the low price of 8 tickets, and I believe I can cash those out for over 20 each now. So, hashtag early adopter. I don't know. Occasionally, you do get paid off for being a big fan of a card, sort of staying abreast of the developments with that particular card. I've got 3 mana left here. They didn't use it for anything. I think this burning their Vivien that way was not the best choice, but obviously we're crazy behind. Like, there's just no real way back into this game for us. But I think Walking Ballista there, or even just plussing the Vivien on their 2 creatures might have been a better choice. Again, my opponent's kicking my butt here, so it's not like I really get to feel great about it. So, again, look at our sideboard. Is there anything we can get here that does anything particularly useful? No. And I don't really have enough mana to do it, so losing against the mirror match on the draw. Definitely something that can happen. We both hit submit, so sideboarding process for both decks should take about 3 seconds. The Pascal list. No, it was not the Pascal list. I used Ryan Bennett's list with Sly Requisitioner. If you go to YouTube and you search Urza's Sly Breaches, you will get the list. This is a pretty great opening. One of the most important things I like about this opening is that we get to go Llanowar Elves into Voracious Hydra to pick off their mana elf if they have one, and if they don't, we just get to play Wolfwillow Haven. Gonna limit the outer sound as much as possible. I don't want to get copyright noticed from the CBC for my grandmother listening to the news. My opponent seems to be in the same position we were in last game. They are on a vault to 6. Go, little Llanowar Elf. You just go get him. Worst Legolas ever. Fire off this Voracious Hydra for 1. Just poke their guy. Fight that one. Fight that one. Get him gone. Get him dead. I don't want to see him around here. So opponent was on a mulligan. There's less of a chance of them having... Wow! Yeah. So this is definitely one of the things that can happen with this deck. Is It is very explosive in nature, but the range of hands that you keep is like a combo deck where sometimes if some of the things you're counting on being there for you are not there, I don't need a Burning-Tree Emissary at this point, then your game plan will fall apart entirely, and you're going to be living off the top of your library. Which, when I was playing the mono white devotion deck, which if I could get all the cards for it, I'm not sure which of these two I would choose to play, but the mono white deck definitely did have that going for it as well. As sometimes you'd keep these hands. The difference being that the mono white deck had a actual factual combo kill that you could draw later in the game. So if you made it to the mid to late game, there was always the chance that you could just win out of nowhere. Whereas with this deck, it's very, very high synergy, linear. It really needs to get going at a fairly rapid pace. And if you are derailed, you can be in big trouble real fast. This is much better than my opening hand. Opponent keeps their 6. I'm going to keep my 6. Being on the draw, I almost want to toss this Voracious Hydra. I don't think that's correct. I do want to play out this Elvish Mystic to incentivize them to kill it, and that means I want to keep Jadelight Ranger for a turn 2 play. So it almost feels like I could get away with bottoming a land, because either I go Mystic into Jadelight, or I go Mystic, they kill my Mystic, and then I play Wolfwillow Haven. So I could toss this Castle Garenbrig. There's a few ways I could get punished for this, but I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take the risk. Toss the Hydra. I want to have the interaction, and there's a much higher density of lands in this deck than, I don't know, money, gas. Got a redundant elf. Alright, so we're just hoping that they can't pick off my elf here more than anything else. One thing I will say is, compared to a lot of decks I have played in Magic in the past, this is much more powerful and linear, so not going to go to time as much as I'm used to. Alright, they can still filter through for triple green and play a Hydra and pick off my guy. They play Jadelight. Okay, that's not too bad. Voyaging Satyr. So I can either develop my mana very heavily, or we can take a kind of risky line, play the Hydra, and pick off their Llanowar Elves. If they don't have another mana source, then they get severely choked. So what is the risk reward? Or do I just fire off this Jadelight trying to pick up a land of my own? The Jadelight is definitely the more conservative line. I've got nothing but spells here, so I'll be in an okay place as long as I can hit some more lands. So picked up a Nykthos, that's less than great, and there's another Elvish Mystic on top, which I get to toss. Hopefully they don't have something devastating here, like a Vivien Arkbow Ranger, or Karn can come down and cast a True Drop. Okay, so they get to Nykthos for 6. Yeah. Karn is one of the least scary things here, because they only have 2 mana. Most of the things they could play for 2 mana are not that good. Although Walking Ballista and then just pick off my Llanowar Elves would be a very good play. I don't know if they know that, but they did have the land, so not hedging on picking off their elf as being a very good play seems to be already. Great Henge, they cannot play that card, right? Because it's the highest. Yeah. It's not like Ghalta. Ghalta is reduced by the total power of creatures you control, and Great Henge is reduced by the highest power of creatures you control, which for them is 4, so Henge will currently cost 5. So I believe my opponent, through inexperience, heavily punted that turn. Okay, so if I trade my Jadelight for their Jadelight, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 devotion pips. So they have a creature with 2 power, which means the Henge costs 7. So Nykthos produces 1, 2, 3, 4 of these, 5, 6. So unless they have another land or they use their Karn down tick to go and get the Darksteel Citadel, they won't be able to play that Henge. And I can actually use my turn here to play a Voracious Hydra and pick off one of their mana elves, which might be the play. So I pick up another Nykthos Shrine to Nyx, so that's just about the worst thing that could happen. The only way to get a Hydra in that can fight one of their elves is by just playing it, using my mana. I'm not going to be able to develop in any direction, although, no, I won't be able. Yeah, okay. This does give me a way to generate some extra mana next turn, so not a total disaster, but definitely not the best. So now they're on 4 mana, assuming that, okay, 5 mana. So if they're smart, they will get Skysovereign and pick off my Llanowar Elves or Walking Ballista. Let's see what they're up to over there. Yep. Wat du got, Ned? Skysovereign. Yep. All right. So they're going to pick off my Llanowar Elf if they are smart. And then from here on out, they can actually use their Karn to crew the Skysovereign every turn. Was one of the better pickups I could have had, but still think we're pretty dead here. Get to play the Wolfwillow Haven, play the Voyaging Satyr, and that's it. And then if they are clever, if they know how this deck functions, they can Skysovereign. They can crew the Skysovereign with the Karn and attack for 5, pick off another one of my creatures, and then I'm basically dead in the water. We'll see. They're doing the thing. And even if I could have killed their Karn there, they do actually have 3 power to crew Skysovereign, so. And they can cast the Henge because Skysovereign is 5 power, so. Definitely in more than a little bit of trouble. I guess my highest chance to win here is if they attack and pick off my Voracious Hydra for any reason. I think they understand what this matchup's about, though. They've been picking off my mana sources. Yep. All right. Getting donked for 5. Magic Online, I don't have any legal blocks. Why do you insist that I try? I can make a bunch of mana here. So 2, pay 1 for Llanowar Elf, then Nykthos taps for 4. It doesn't really get me anywhere. Yeah, I think we're just done for here. Suppose I could have Nykthos, then you activate Nykthos, play another Nykthos, activate that Nykthos, and then activate my Wolfwillow Haven, get a 2/2. But yeah, we're just done here. So deck obviously powerful on the other side of the board. We came out a little unlucky. They won the die roll in game 1, and that was most of that match. But this is the kind of deck that does that. Nothing to feel bad about here. Rocking on into match number 2. Definitely feeling good after seeing it on the other side of the battlefield doing good things, but I think I can play this a little bit better than my opponent did there. So, no, not a shot against Jesus. I just think that they were assuming certain things worked the way, not quite the way that they do. Working day and night, baby. It's a fantastic opening hand. Opponent is on the play, but we're going to keep this one against the real JMC 10. So I get to Mono Black. It's been a minute since I've seen this bad boy. I got a reasonable hand against Mono Black. If they don't choose to interact with me next turn, I get a pretty explosive turn too. Thoughtseize is going to be a little interesting with this hand. If they also have a Fatal Push, I guess it's not going to be quite so interesting. Probably losing Jadelight here. Could lose Burning-Tree Emissary. Lost Burning-Tree Emissary, so I think this basically telegraphs a Fatal Push. Post-combat Fatal Push. I'm going to assume that my elf is getting pushed here. But their deck is not good at turning on... Ooh. They got some green, have second Thoughtseize. That's pretty slick. So here goes Jadelight. I do get to put... Oh, Voyaging Satyr. Really? You wanted to choke my card advantage. You know this is a 4/3, right? It can be. I think you should treat it as such. Wolfwillow Haven on top. So I'm going to put it on top. And then on the second Explorer, I'm going to put it in my graveyard. I wanted the 4/3. I don't really need a Wolfwillow Haven right now. It's okay. It's basically like a very awkward 2/2. It takes you a while to get to in this matchup. I mean, obviously it is mana acceleration in certain situations, but... mana acceleration is not the point that we are at here. Needs more possibility storms. I disagree. There's Wolfwillow Haven here. Going to play this Elvish Mystic here, take 1 point of mana burn, go to combat, attack for 1. So, living off the top of our deck here, but if and when we hit a Nissa who shakes the world, Vivien, Arkbow Ranger, or Karn, we're going to be in pretty good shape. So, Bloodsoaked Champion returns based on the raid condition, and it returns directly to the battlefield. So, I'm not really incentivized to block here. Just going to take the 4. They have the mana to immediately return the Bloodsoaked Champion, so... Of course, doing so would have allowed me to prevent this from happening, but... Okay, we're going to make a 2/2. Pass the turn, see if we can't get something going on here. So Dreadwanderer is a similar creature to Bloodsoaked Champion. It's a 2/1 for 1, but the condition for returning it from your graveyard to the battlefield is have 1 or less cards in hand. It does cost 3, and you can activate it only anytime you could activate a sorcery. So if they attack with either of their Mutavaults, they won't be able to return both their creatures. If all they attack with is these 2 creatures, I think... think I can take this. The problem is Deathrite Shaman's going to start picking away at my life total. No, there's no instants or sorceries in my graveyard. In fact, there's none in my deck. So I think I can just take this 4 pretty safely. They can target themselves with this. My mistake. I've never played against the card Deathrite Shaman. It was banned in Legacy before I played the small amount of Legacy I have. Goodness gracious. All right. Okay, so huge trouble. So we are at a virtual 4. So we have to block next turn. Oh, they had a Doomblade too? I think we're just done, huh? So if I block, they have to spend all their mana bringing those back. But they could also put in 2 Mutavaults, and then I take... Yeah, and then I die as soon as they untap. Yeah, I think we're done here. Let's just go game 2. Game 2 on the play. So, black-green with Deathrite Shaman and Doomblade main. So they're not necessarily playing Abrupt Decay main. Interesting. Game the second. It's very tempting. Let's get risky. We do have a backup Llanowar Elves in case this one gets pushed, and if they do push it, it means they're not developing their game plan, so... Risk reward, as they say. Okay, Thoughtseize is considerably better than getting hit with Fatal Push here. Very likely to lose Burning-Tree Emissary here. Yep. Okay, if I could play either of these, I'll play Wolfwillow Haven on my land because that cannot be killed. So the maximum number of land drops we should be missing here is just that 1. Opponent with the obnoxious sequencing. Very obnoxious sequencing. Okay, we got there. So Voracious Hydra doesn't come down big enough to kill that yet, so let's play Jadelight. Hopefully pick up land here. That's really the only goal. We did pick up 1 land, which we could play next turn. Play Burning-Tree Emissary for free. Is that something that I want against their deck, or am I looking for a better card? I think I'm looking for a better card than that. We've already kind of missed the window for Burning-Tree Emissary being excellent. So next turn, we're just going to probably play X = 2 Voracious Hydra and pick off their Knight. They can swing with all of their mana open here. Suppose if they do that, they end up with a 2/3 Knight. Which... I don't think it's very likely for them to pump here. Yeah, so I just take the 1. So this says to me they're keeping open Murderous Rider. Feel incentivized to play this Karn. But what does Karn get me against that deck? Walking Ballista, Darksteel Citadel. If I could actually get it out, God-Pharaoh's statue would be very good. But think I'd play Karn, get the Darksteel Citadel. Yeah, that's okay. That's the game plan. So, gonna play Karn. Karn's gonna pick me up a land, basically, but they are going to be incentivized to swift end it or attack it next turn. If they do attack it, I will block, because with that land and Nissa, I'll have a reasonable amount going on. The other option here is to grab the Skysovereign and just hope I pick up a land for next turn. Is that better? Yeah, because if I miss the land, if I get to keep the Karn and I miss the land draw, then I'd rather have the Skysovereign in my hand. So let's see if I read their swift end correctly. Definitely want to keep this Jadelight Ranger on block. Defense. Defense. But don't plus the Karn on that land. That's not my plan. Ooh, that is... yeah, definitely a situation I wasn't anticipating. So removal spell for my creature. Yeah, I wasn't thinking that straight. Yep. So I'm going to take my Karn out here, so really need to top deck a land. Woof. Alright, so Jadelight gonna find me... oh, actually, hold on. I can play Voracious Hydra and pick off their one creature? That seems like the thing to do. Especially with how good that creature is. Bonk. Alright, so now they have no aggression going on, and if they Thoughtseize me, they have quite the Sophie's choice of things that end the game. Kalitos? Gotta be. Prankle. Prankle's okay. I can lose Llanowar Elves here, I really don't mind. Let's see what modes they choose for the Master of Pranks, the Pranksmith. Would you like each player to sack a creature? I mean, I am okay with that, personally. So when this triggers, they have to choose which of these modes go on the stack, and then we'll get to see them before it resolves. Not that it matters in this case, but... Trio Saturday, I must judge you. Yes, I am playing in the Trio Saturday, and I am most likely playing this exact deck, so... get ready for judge calls about wishes. I will judge you. Was that no modes? That was no modes. Interesting. Land. That's not land. But I can still play Haven into Jadelight here, which is not too bad. Now I have 5 mana for next turn, so also excellent. So things looking okay here in the second. Vivien Arkbow Ranger. Yeah, that's pretty okay. Bonk. So many penalties, probably. Janice is playing too, and Woodstock. Janice is playing? I thought she would have been like head judging the out of it. Why not both Wolfwillows on the same land? I just don't feel like that's smart ever, but maybe I'm just nervous from... Yeah, you're probably right. I'm just used to modern play patterns. Thanks for pointing that out. It's probably correct to each player discards a card, each player sacrifices a creature. I don't think you understand how that works, where you have a second Prankle in your hand, which I guess is good to know about. So discard a card, Llanowar Elves. Yes. Sack a creature, my 2/3 instead of my 4/3. I'd like to keep my 4/3. Fatal Push, fine. So likely they have a Murderous Rider or otherwise in hand. So I'm going to boot up this Unenchanted Forest to attack them. So if I lose it, it's the sort of minimum damage done to my mana. Oh, sure. Yeah, you can kill my Nissa. That's a fine choice. Please play Murderous Rider or otherwise. 5 mana, awesome. Although they have a Castle Garenbrig. So they've got a reasonable play for next turn, but we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Here comes the boat. I get to play the boat and attack them? Sweet. I'm on a boat and we're gonna hit it and trigger. One legal target. Basically just World Breaker. So are you telling me that since you're appeals judge, I should just appeal everything? Or is that too Daniel Fournier for you? Well, come on now. Demolish is legal in this format. Alright. So, Castle Garenbrig and play Vivien. This becomes a 4/5 Death Touch. So, what we are going to do is tap 4 to play Vivien. Going to crew my Skysovereign. Well, I suppose I could have done what I'm going to do after combat, because what's going to happen is I'm going to attack them, and then when I get the trigger, assuming that they don't have yet another Swift End. If they have another Swift End, I could actually be in a little trouble here. Here's hoping they don't actually have enough removal. So we shoot the Knight of the Ebon Legion for 3. They're going to have to pump in response to save it. Boat is jamming in. Boosh. Battle Boat. I promise I'm ready to USC Janice. I know she's going to appeal someone that she can say hi. That's fair. Regenerate each creature you control. I guess that's a choice. They could have just pumped it, but okay. I don't know if you caught that, but it legitimately said 1 regeneration shield on their creature. That was fantastic. I'm going to have my Forest punch the Knight post-combat. So, onboard tricks. They should be down for the count at this point. Yep. All right, which means we get to go to game the 3rd. I'm going to hit the washer real quick as we head into game number 3. Wrecked indeed, my friend. Wrecked indeed. We are not keeping this opening hand, I don't think. It's pretty god-awful, especially post-Thoughtseize. This is better. We're just going to bottom one of these mini forests. Bottom the one that doesn't match, so that someone out there on the internet is pleased. Alright. No blacken. No blacken. Just gonna take the bump there. Doomblade. What a nerd. 2-drop. That's not a 2-drop. But it is acceptable. Take 2 points of mana burn this time. Goodness gracious. Suppose I could judge call that I'm supposed to take mana burn at some point, and then when the floor judge tells me I'm being an idiot, then I could appeal it. That's Spawn of Mayhem. Is a big boy. Alright. So Jadelight is really the only thing I can do here. If it ends up being a 4-3, it didn't. But if it had, we would have been in some reasonable shape. I'm gonna ditch this Wolfwillow Haven. If I can go Forest Garenbrig without this gaining counters, then I will be able to fight it down with my Hydra. And it doesn't gain counters until my opponent is at 10 or less life, so should be able to pull that off. So, knowing my own hand, I'm going to throw this Burning-Tree Emissary in front of their blood-soaked champion. This incentivizes them to use their mana on bringing it back versus doing anything else. Yep, good. Hopefully they don't also have Thoughtseize. Crap, they have land drop. They didn't do anything else. Probably have Doomblade. Forest is not my favorite draw. See, them having so much mana up makes me nervous because if they're able to Doomblade my Voracious Hydra in response to the fight trigger, then I get completely blown out. Well, they are slightly less likely to have it now, so here is hoping that my plan goes as planned. Rankle would have been lethal there. Luckily, they did not have it, but I've just got to grip it and rip it here. Why did they shock that? That is not... Nah, it's not the correct plan. Okay, so punted this game away. Well, let's see what they have in hand. If they had a single piece of spot removal, we would have been screwed anyway, so let's prove that they have the spot removal and be comfortable with the fact that we just got beat this game. Huh. They legitimately not have it? No. Okay, the paying cost. No. Yeah, there it is. All right. So they had it anyway, so we're going to lose that. No problem. So 1 and 2 in each of our matches so far. Again, deck still feels good. I don't know if I'm just getting the negative side of variance here. I did also lose 2 of the first 3 games I played with it last league, so it's definitely not an unbeatable deck. It is just quite powerful. Let's do it. Opponent on the play. I'm going to keep this. It's a little sketch, but hopefully we draw a second land. Stitcher Supplier. Alright, that's black-white zombies, you said. Let's draw a second land. Second land will be very good here. Don't push me, bro. Brosephine. Jeez. Yep. Goodness gracious. Better hit that second land. We got it. Sweet. We're going to play Voyaging Satyr here. Yeah. Hopefully they don't have a second piece of removal. 2 whole pieces of removal? Nobody plays 2 pieces of removal. Nobody. Corpse Knight, sure. So whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life. So that's part of their Wombo combo that they are going to build towards. Get to play Wolfwillow Haven there, untap the land. Land now taps for 2, play Burning-Tree Emissary, and then Llanowar Elves. Not a bad turn 3, considering. Shut. Yes. We can play, let's see, we've got 4, 5. Actually, Nykthos currently taps for 5 mana or something gross. So I can go 1, 2, 3, play Jadelight, 1, 2, shoot. Alright, well, that's okay. We still got a decent amount of mana. Only lost a single pip on that. So if I Jadelight for these 3, and then I hit a land, yeah, that doesn't help this turn. Alright, so we use this. Gives me 4 mana. So I can play Jadelight. And then if I hit a land off the top, I can play the land and play the second Jadelight. Cool. So let's get exploring. Double land? Well, that's just fantastic. Alright. Toss out the Castle Garenbrig. And another Jadelight Ranger. So next turn, my on top, yes, please, twice if I could. Thank you. Next turn, my Nykthos is going to produce an ungodly amount of mana. I believe is the technical nomenclature. Not sure. Did you beat the Mono Black deck? No, I did not. They were able to cry me out just a bit. All right, opponent tapped everything to draw a card and blocked with the Stitcher Supplier. So I wonder if we're going to get... I don't know at what point of mana they get to go nuts here. I know they're going to use... what's it called? White X, return creatures with converted mana cost X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I can't remember it. Anyway. So how much mana can we make? So playing Llanowar Elves is net 0 here. Nykthos is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Voracious Hydra has to be cast for a total of 7. So nine. I have to put 4 in here, and then I get 6 that I can only spend on creatures. So I can completely wreck their board, it looks like, and then maybe they can combo kill me next turn. Not smart enough to be able to do the math on exactly what they have to do for that. So let's play the Hydra. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. X is 5, cool. Play the Hydra, fight the Diregraph. Bonk. So they're going to have to tap down if they want to draw a card. They did not, which is smart because they would have killed them. I can make my Jadelight a 6/5 trample, swing with everything they have. If I make those both trample... Alright, so I'm playing the Vivien regardless. If I fight down their 2/2, swing with everything... They don't actually have a way to sacrifice anything, and this is not gonna... Yeah, okay, they scooped. Cool. I thought I had it. I'm glad that my opponent decided that me figuring out all the math wasn't worth their time. We are just clicking submit as usual. Tormod's Crypt is our Karn go-to in this matchup. Removing their graveyard is super valuable. So we're on the draw again. I'm going to keep a similar hand to last time. This one is super explosive, but... Okay. Second land is good insurance. Also worth noting is that I'm listening to the Mummy... the Mummy cinematic soundtrack, the orchestral soundtrack, and it's like super epic. It's making this gameplay super epic. Okay, and we're gonna take 2 points of mana burn here, but that's okay. Our health total's pretty high, we'll be fine. The amount that this deck in particular, like, I can make the mana burn joke, is not non-zero. Okay, that was a pretty colossally bad draw. I think we attack here. Looks like we're bluffing some kind of neato play, but I actually don't have anything to do here. I was just hoping that they would trade one of their guys. They did not. Hopefully they have literally all lands in hand. That's what I'm going to go with. I would like that to be true. But that's a collie toss. That's a big problem. I think this was probably a loose keep, if I had to guess. If they do swing with everything, oh, that's just the worst. Okay, I think we might be dead here. Bad keep. So we're taking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Could take 5 instead. I don't think there's any way back into this game for us. No, certainly not that. All right, game 3 on the play. Let's do it. Let's finally be on the play against this zombie deck. Zombie, A. With the AB combo. This is pretty bad if we get Fatal Pushed. I think I'm supposed to mulligan this. Really don't want to. Don't think that they're playing Thoughtseize. I think they're just playing board interaction here. There's plenty of acceleration in this deck. I'm going to keep this and pray. Turn for Vivien with no creatures on the board is definitely not where we want to be, but just going into this with a wing and a prayer. Damn. Double damn. All right. Yeah, I was probably supposed to hold that, but... Okay. Why couldn't you have led on Thoughtseize? Why'd you have to lead on Push, you know? I guess it wouldn't actually matter at all with the way this hand is constructed, but... So we'll play the land that they know about. One of the biggest problems about playing Naked Vivien here is that she doesn't generate any way to defend herself. She does plus in such a way that on the very next turn we would be able to -5 her and get a creature from our sideboard, but they're probably just going to bonk her for 2. They also get an extra zombie spell here, or a zombie creature. What? Oh, it's a vampire, right? Okay, they are attacking Vivien because they're smart. Okay, got a little lucky. So, can make a 5/5 forest blocker here. I mean, that ain't nothing. If they have a fatal push, it's pretty rough. I could... Yeah, I'm going to use it to fight down their Diregraph Colossus. It's a better use of my resource, and assuming that they have a single piece of removal in their hand, then this puts me in a better spot. Another Diregraph Colossus is fine. Ugh. Why? Just exactly what they need when they need it. Alright, so Nissa gets donked for 3. There are definitely ways out of this for us, but I'll be damned if I could tell you what they are. Okay, so 4, 5, 6 mana here. I can up my devotion to green by playing the Wolfwillow Haven first. So I think we go Wolfwillow Haven on this forest. Tap for 3, untap it. Where does that leave me? I can tap it for another 3. Play a Vivien. Okay, I can fight down like their whole board this way. It's gonna be weird. So 6. I've got 2 left, so I can activate Nykthos after this. So we play Vivien. Plus Vivien on my forest, giving it 5 power. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So activate Nykthos for 6 here. Play the second Vivien. Okay, so I've got excess mana that I really didn't need. Fortunately, I have to keep this one, use this to fight down Kalitas. And then we're going to lose Nissa, but I've got a 5/5, and then I've got a Wolfwillow Haven that can spit out. Actually, they can only kill one of my Planeswalkers as is, so. But I had excess mana there, so I should have animated my forest that didn't have Wolfwillow Haven on it, but this is what you learn. Okay, we lose the Nissa, so we don't have quite as excessive amounts of mana. Do you have a 7/7 Vigilance, though? So I'm going to tap. I need to leave my Nykthos on tap. This is just enchant land. So put it on the same one because I'm intending to sack both. Crap, that doesn't do what I wanted it to. Oh yeah, it does. So Kraken for 7, tap this for 3, tap this for Devotion to Green. 6, so I get 1 wolf. Let's suppose having the 7/7 on defense was better. Yeah. Do you have 9 power in play now? Which ain't not bad. I wonder, they can't just have like all lands in hand, right? So they're both attacking Vivien. I just lose her, which is fine because I have a 7/7 vigilance. So post-combat, I can make a second wolf. So Kraken for 9. Oh, don't have removal. What is this? Rally the Ancestors is an instant. Right. Why wouldn't it be? Cool. Okay, they got a single 3/3. I guess that's not too bad. So they're going to eat my wolf. Or chump block my 7/7. They're going to eat my wolf. That's fine. Rally the Ancestors then goes into exile, and then exile this creature at the beginning of your next upkeep. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Where did I get the extra? Oh, this taps for 2. Alright, so just sack the Haven, get a 2/2 past the turn. Cool. And I don't think they're able to exploit the fact that this exiles at the beginning of their upkeep. They are not. Cool. They're just holding out for some kind of spot removal for my 7/7 vigilance. If they don't draw it, we're in great shape. That's Thoughtseize. Nice. Opponent goes to 5. Okay, so we're going Kraken in for 7 here. Get him. Arr. John Avon's Wrath. The Wrath of Johnny A. Sorry, as the Canadians would say, Wrath of Johnny A. Alright, come on now, get in there, eh? Oh, geez, they're gonna draw a card and go to 3? That's pretty risky, eh? Let's see if we got this one. It's gonna be definitely a little bit close, you know? But, that really looked like it was coming to play untapped. So if they activate Castle Garenbrig, they've got to go down to 1. Which, well, that's a card. So 1, 2. Oh, hold on. I can do this better. So I can play this for x equals 4. So we go 1, 2, 3. Play a second Nykthos. 4. Activate it. 6. Play Voracious Hydra as a 4/5. Fight down, Diagraph, and then Kraken for death. Yes, we got there. Okay, cool. So we got us a match win, but we've also played the maximum number of games of Magic for our entry fee, so I just want everyone to know that this is the best way you could be playing Magic. You should play every single game that you paid for. But you should play it in a reasonable span of time, apparently. No, you should play, if you're playing paper Magic, since they're timed rounds, you want to play all 50 minutes, but because otherwise you just have to wait around. But on leagues, you want to play the maximum number of games. Now, the length of the games doesn't matter as long as you don't time out, but maximum number of games, that's what matters. All right, match the 4th. Winning the die roll, sweet. Are you really playing this Saturday? I'm pretty sure I am, yes. It's kind of really good. Like, this obviously wasn't the best showing on the first couple games, but... What is this deck? Alright, it's Mono G Karn, as made quote-unquote popular by Aspiringspike, who is a streamer. Streamer, brewer kind of guy. Canister 5-0'd with it in a preliminary this week. So it now has sort of gotten picked up by one of the popular players who piloted it to success. Can you bring me some of the drugs you're on for me? I can try. You'll find oxygen. Oh my god. Wow. Oh wait, we get to choose? Oh, never mind. You'll find oxygen is legal most places, so I'm not... Shouldn't be hard to get you any of that. They don't have 1 mana, or they don't have 3 mana to plus their Yark, so I'm going to crack in for 2 here. Yark's Fenlurker, so black. Aspiringspike is the person who I got my first Hidden Strings list from before Breach. Yep. Another Fenlurker, that's okay. We like to go empty-handed pretty early anyway, so... Oh, that's so brutal. Oh my god. Oh, nice sequencing. Okay. Alright, so we're living off the top of our deck now. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's top deck a Karn. Let's top deck a Nissa Who Shakes the World. Vivien Arkbow Ranger. Here against Black Devotion. Ugh. Just... Oh my god! What is this draw? Okay. Voracious Hydra would be great. Oh, Forest. Super. I mean, it's not like I've exiled 2 forests or 2 lands from my hand already. My 22 land deck just flooding out like the Nile. Oh, it's fine. They drew a Castle Lochthwain. Woof. Getting a little beat up here. Ah. Okay, it's a pretty good draw. Don't hit too many lands. Don't need that. I will take another Jadelight. This Jadelight's a 4/3? Oh, it's so beef. Alright, I'm going to crack in for 1. Our eventual goal is to win through combat, so... So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so no play that turn. I guess that's good. So I can currently tap my Nykthos for 3, which doesn't net me any mana, so I'll just play the Jadelight as is. Another Jadelight on top, I think that's fine. Make another 4/3 and guarantee we have a reasonable play for next turn. Additionally, we're gaining a lot of Devotion pips here. And the way we're playing this game right now, we keep having no drag to the underworld. Sure. The way we're playing this game right now is conducive to be playing against a sort of black mid-range deck because they probably want to keep attacking our hand here, and we're just not giving them a hand to attack. Is worth noting that Karn is like particularly medium here, only in that Karn allows us to put a card into our hand from outside the game, and if we don't cast it that turn, there's a very good chance we lose it. Obviously, they're on 0 cards now, but still fairly likely. I'm okay with drawing a land now. Hey, look, we drew exactly 1 land. I got a Vivien on top. That is pretty good. So Vivien is going to let me fight down some of their Fenlurkers, I guess. Or just make a really big Jadelight that I'll start cracking through this Timerat. I guess killing their Fenlurkers means Timerat loses some toughness, so that's okay. Cling to Dust, sure. Exile target card from a graveyard. If you use a creature card, you gain 3, otherwise you draw a card. Well, that's pretty good for them right now. And they can also start escaping that, so that's actually a little card advantage engine that they get to use. To use the term engine loosely. Engine loosely. I can speak English. It is my native language, I promise. So Vivien adds to our devotion count by yet another obscene amount. So I have options here. I can split the counters on 2 creatures and attack with 2 creatures with trample. If they've got Fatal Push, this is a much better play than trying to fight. Let's go cracking in with my trample creatures. There's a good chance that they block my 4/3 with 1 Fenlurker and Timeret. Yeah, they have Trample Friend. That's definitely something I was expecting. Are you not aware this has Trample? Oh, they're figuring it out. Alright, so they're just going to take 4. Cool. That is acceptable. So the maximum amount they could hit my Vivien for this turn is killing it. 3, I could make them pay 6 to have to kill it, and then I crack back and kill them. So, not sure what sacking the Fabled Passage is all about. I can't imagine that they need all their mana. Uh-oh. Maybe this is Torment of Hailfire for a Trillion. Okay, they activate Castle, sure. They got a 4. Interesting choice. Liliana, that can kill my elf. Which does give them the space to swing in and kill my Vivien, but... Okay, they use it to pick up one of the cards from their graveyard. There's a Grey Merchant. So I'm going to take 10. They're going to gain 10. No. Yes? No. 12. Alright, so we're just dead. Nice play. Nice play. Mono Black Devotion beating the Mono Green Devotion. Well played, opponent. Jay the Mind Sculptor. Alright, let's go game 2. This is once again a fairly acceptable hand. Hopefully we don't get completely blown out by their exact sequence. Because this is a real good hand. Ugh, why? Every time. I mean, it's not that bad, but actually our sequence is almost exactly the same, but still, frustrating. Don't Thoughtseize me, bro. Gifted Aetherborn, that's fine. Okay, so I can play Karn here, and then what do I get that's in any way relevant? I think it's Darksteel Citadel again. Hitting the land drops is just so important sometimes. Suppose instead I could just play Llanowar Elves and wait. But that seems like tempting fate. Could plus the Karn, and if they attack... No, I'd rather minus him just because there's a good chance that they play Planeswalker removal post-board. So let's grab just the Citadel. Citadel's guaranteed value. Yes. So we're going to lose the Nissa here to the Thoughtseize. If they attack, I block. Then hopefully they're not as clever as my other opponent was by playing post-combat Thoughtseize. Good. Okay, so this means we're going to get Skysovereign, and then that on its own might get us out of this game. I'm on a boat. Skadoosh. And then next turn, the Karn can, quote, crew Skysovereign. Do I want to do that when they have all their mana open? Probably. Play the Llanowar Elf. Yeah. I don't particularly think that there's a lot of value in not forcing them to do stuff. And then activate Wolfwillow Haven. This puts us down 1 mana and 1 devotion pip, but right now we just want to present as much of a board presence as possible. I wonder if they have some kind of Wrath, but the only Wrath that they're likely to be playing is Languish, and that doesn't really do it here. I'm on 6 mana, which means I could play the God-Pharaoh's Monument. Which is pretty much going to put this game out of reach for them. Or I can take another turn of attacking them. It's not that likely to get us blown out here to take the extra turn of attacking them. Because if they had the Planeswalker removal already, they would have used it. Drag to the Underworld. Yeah, that's fine. So this means next turn I get to go get my God-Pharaoh's Monument, cast it, and I still have a Karn. Alternatively, I could get something like Walking Ballista, which I think I could play for X equals 4. So, yeah. Backup Karn. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like it. So let's use Karn, get God-Pharaoh's statue. Henge costs 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not playing a creature this turn, so it doesn't really help me. Let's put this God-Pharaoh statue into play. Skadoosh. Donk. So attacking my Karn. Do I attempt to trade both my creatures? Or do I just jump block with one? I think I can just jump block with one. Yeah, actually I can. See what I draw this turn. So I'm both incentivized to animate my God-Pharaoh statue, but also to woo. Sure. I mean, I'm gonna kill it, but that's neat. All right, let's see what they get. So they're playing the mono black Karn list. Okay. Neat. They get Skysovereign, maybe? They should. Well, I'll take it. All right, going to game the third. So we're going tap land on 1. Probably Wolfwillow on 2. Yeah. All right, let's keep this hand and draw a forest. That would be banging. Sure. It's actually totally okay. The hand is redundant in a bunch of different ways. Take the Llanowar Elf. Sure. I didn't actually have the ability to play that on turn 1 anyway. I didn't draw it, so... yeah. Fine by me, brother. Timerette. Okay. So definitely playing the Nykthos here. Question is, what else am I doing? So if I play Wolfwillow Haven next turn, it means I have 4 mana next turn? Sorry, if I play Wolfwillow Haven this turn, it means I have 4 mana next turn, which doesn't really do anything for me with what this hand has in it. So I think we play Voyaging Satyr. There's a very good chance they have removal for it here, but it doesn't really bother me. Don't impress me much, I could say. I'm just listening to some Shania Twain, so... Murderous Rider, sure. That's one of the better pieces of removal they could play there just because it costs them so much mana. And then we're just going to play Jadelight here to try to smooth out our mana for the next couple turns. Wolfwillow is neat because it basically costs 1 to accelerate you. I'm going to put that in the graveyard on the second Explore. Probably should have thrown it on the first one. I guess having the 4/3 Jadelight feels pretty good. If they just play the Murderous Rider, yeah, the Timerette only becomes a 2/4. So if they attack, I get to kill it. Sweet. Land. I mean... So we get to play Burning-Tree, Wolfwillow, and Elvish Mystic this turn. Yeah, that's really the only reasonable sequence. So I have to play Burning-Tree for green, or I could play Wolfwillow for green and 1. There we go. I figured it out, guys. Guys. Found the line. I was right over there. All right, trigger. Get my elf. All right. Yep. Am I attacking? No, I've got a lot of sweet green devotion pips, so I could play a gigantic Hydra or Nissa and a pretty decently sized Hydra. So 4, 5. Gray Merchant's fine. Not great, but fine. So we take 6, they gain 6. Puts them in a commanding spot in terms of life total. Gives them pretty free access to their Castle Garenbrig, but that's fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pips. So that 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can either make Voracious Hydra come in and fight for 4. Four is enough because killing the Gray Merchant is probably the best play. Is it good to kill the Gray Merchant? I guess it's not. So the Hydra can't attack this turn. Could attack with a 3/3. I guess killing their Lifelinker is the best. Burning-Tree can't attack anyway. So killing their 2/4 gives me the best attacks. Killing their lifelinker. Oh yeah. But if they want to block with it, then they end up in not a great spot anyway. So play Voracious Hydra for 4. Fight. Take down their 2/4. They could group block, but then they lose their life-linking creature, so I'm okay with that either way. Sure. Chonk. Alright, so one more piece of gas and we basically win this. They do have the ability to pull back in at any moment, so I'm not... Okay, so they Castle Lock win. That's basically the best thing that we could see them do there. Okay. Yeah, I guess we're just priced into just going all in here. Doesn't feel great, but... So, Shen mana. $13 mana. Animate my forest. Crack my Wolfwillow Haven. I don't really want to play another Nissa. She's close to hitting that ultimate. It's pretty powerful. So, yeah. So what am I thinking that what was my path to victory here? If I ultimate the Nissa, it gets literally... Not literally. It gets a ridiculous chunk of lands out of my deck. This turn I can attack for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14. Which even if it all went through, could kill them. Or I can make it 17, which prices them into blocking more. Puts them under more pressure to block with their rider. Get it off the battlefield, get those pips away. Super risky. Screw it, I guess. Yeah, let's do it. Keep the new one. Only puts me 1 turn behind on the ultimating thing. Okay, this scooped. Whew. Alright. tank, kill you, I guess. Still on the play every single game of every single match plan here. Winning die rolls always feels good. This is a weird hand. We got 2 shots at a land to make it pretty good, at which point it becomes completely nuts. So, worst case scenario on turn 3, I go Burning-Tree, Jadelight, and then I can hit the land to get into this Bogles. It's the Bant Bogles deck, probably. So, was hoping to hit a untapped green source there, one of my forests, basically. Didn't do it, but still should be okay here. We're going to put a pretty unreal board presence out in a second, so. Staggering Insight. Okay, so they get to gain 1 and draw a card. Sorry, 2. Oh, hold on. Oh no, okay, this is gonna work fine. Actually, this is about to be kind of nuts, right? Because we go 1-2, play Burning-Tree. Okay. 1-2. Another Burning-Tree. Tap for 5. Jadelight. So if I hit a land, I could play the second Jadelight. Oof. So, bin that. Didn't hit a land. Shoot. Bin the second one. Just pass the turn. It's not likely that their deck can sort of board wipe us too much. So, should be okay here with our powerful linear game plan. Griffspoon gives it flying. Yeah, so it's going to be able to keep attacking us. Another staggering insight, sure. Say 4-3 lifelink, and they get to draw 2 when they connect. We're going to be cracking back for 8, though. So, could be worse. So my Nykthos taps for 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, 7. So we go tap Nykthos with this boy, because that's not a forest. Play Nissa. Play Vivien. I wonder if I can kill them this turn. It's going to be real close, actually. So, go untap the forest. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 I can crack in for. I'm going to split my counters. Yeah. Okay. Hey, look, my powerful linear game plan is better than your powerful linear game plan. Alright, let's get him. Fighting spinach puffs on 3. 1, 2, 3. Fighting spinach puffs. Alright. So they can go to 13 here. See how many blockers they can put out and or how much damage they can put out. Second Griffspoon. So we currently have lethal. They get to draw 2. They draw a lot of cards, which usually a reasonable way to win a game, but when your opponent vomits out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 green pips. So if I draw Karn, I think I could just Ballista them for like, I think it's near 20. I drew a Nykthos. That's like almost the same thing. All right, so I think we just activate Nykthos, play Jadelight, trigger. Oh, I can get a creature from my sideboard with Vivien. So playing Bant. I wonder if they have main deck counter magic. So I made a severe mistake here, but I think I can kind of correct it. Okay, so let's boot up my Nykthos. We're going to go to combat without tapping anything. And you will see why post-combat. We're going to kill him with a gratuitous Walking Ballista. So swing with everything. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 damage. So they have to do something here. Pretty sure I could have ballisted them for over 20 this turn, though. Because I had 9 there, and I basically get 3 Nykthos activations, so woof. Definitely need some more reps with this deck. Unsubstantiate. Sure. I mean, we still win, but... Play Nykthos. Tap it for 14. Go get a creature. Get Ballista. Play it for 7. And bloop. Boosh. Get out of here. Get out of here. Turn 5. I'm pretty sure I got Ballista for something gross, like it would have been like near like 25, 30. Whew. Yeah, this deck is the nuts. If I get better at playing the game of Magic, it's definitely a good chance that we could do very, very well. And this is just so high on raw power level. So this is kind of an awkward hand. It's not going anywhere yet, but if I draw Llanowar Elves, Voyaging Satyr, another Burning-Tree Emissary wouldn't be bad. Wolfwillow Haven. I'm going to keep this on the draw. No turn 1 play from the Bant Bogle deck. That's just fantastic. So, was it Basara Tree? Basara Tower Archer. Yes, this is their other Bogle. 2-drop. I mean, land is not the end of the world. So Staggering Insight is actually not good enough right now. You need Staggering Insight plus something else. Shock, sure. Teferi? Ethereal Armor, sure. 3/2 first strike. That's unstoppable. Don't also play Staggering Insight. Don't do it. Sentinel's Mark. That's fine. So 5/5, temporarily lifelinking, Vigilance first strike, Hexproof Reach. That's a lot of keywords. Captain Keyword Soup over there. Slow Hand is not working out, just like Eric Clapton's acoustic version of Layla. It's just kind of just dirtling around doing nothing. Karns are not getting me much in this matchup, are they? Another Ethereal Armor. Gross. Claimed Cover Sketcher. I think we take the 9 because it's not trampling. They can give it flying. I know they have the ability to do it. Did we finally hit the Nyx Lotus matchup? I wonder. So, just need to keep generating blockers so it doesn't trample. So yeah, maximum upside is play Voyaging Satyr this turn. The next turn, you get to play Nissa, untap 2 lands, play Karn. Okay, so we're safe for 1 turn. Sweet. As long as I can keep my Nissa alive. Don't disdainful stroke me. Don't do it. No. 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 Unsubstantiate. Well, that's almost as bad. So we now have to chump block the archer with my Burning-Tree Emissary, which means I'm rapidly running out of chump blockers. Although I guess I've got a 0/0 Voracious Hydra to play if I... Sure. You can have more lifelink. Oh, it didn't actually have lifelink that whole time, right? Only the first turn. Shadonk. That's so many cards. So play Nissa. Nissa untaps a land. Satyr untaps another land. Play 2/0/0 Voracious Hydras. Okay, if we somehow win this game, it's going to be a gosh darn miracle. We do have like 10 mana next turn, so... Okay. Okay, so now we're priced into double blocking. But could be worse. So if I get to Ulamog, it's a 10/10 indestructible. Sweet. So that's the game plan. So play Burning-Tree Emissary, because that's mana neutral. Okay, so I'm going to play Vivien this turn anyway. Play Vivien. Tap a forest. Make each of those 4 forests. Doesn't matter because they're not attacking. So the creatures that I'm blocking this turn are Voyaging Satyr and Burning-Tree Emissary, so we'll get a Karn down. Can wish for something that costs up to 4. I should have made one of them a 5/5 because then I could play the Henge for 4. So that's what you get for not thinking your plays out fully. Yeah, Nyx Lotus. Guarantee I have a trillion mana the next turn. I think that's best. Dampen Sphere doesn't do anything except hurt me. I guess it's Nyx Lotus here. Huh? Weird. Finally doing the thing. Commander cards. Ho! Okay, fast turn. So don't draw a Grifspoon. If they don't draw the Grifspoon this turn, I think we win. No, evasion. Don't do it. If they had an unsubstantiate, they would use that to win the game here, so block pretty comfortably. Skadoosh. Okay, survive the combat step. That's what... It was a land. Thank the Lord. Forest. 1, 2... Okay. Okay. Let's go get the Ulamog now. Sure. Tap the Lotus for... Oh, I killed my Vivien. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. Okay. Take away your 2 ethereal armors on that bad boy. See ya. Okay, now you've got a 4-4 and a 4-4. That's a lot more manageable for my 10-10. Can wish again. Yes. Did she put them into play untapped? Tapped, okay. Oh, I could play a Henge this turn? Sure. For 2 mana. Sick. Tap my Henge, gain 2. Play another Karn. So Ethereal Armor will kill me here. Wish again. This one gets the Walking Ballista, I guess? Yeah, sure. Alright, let me pass the turn. Looks like we're there. This game, or this deck is completely nuts. I mean, Nissa Who Shakes the World is completely nuts, but Griff Spoon doesn't kill me here? No, it doesn't. Good. So, play Llanowar Elves, draw a card. Ultimate my Nissa. Ah, they conceded. Concession lockup. All right, so my second 3 and 2 of the last 24 hours with Mono G Karn. Pretty sure I'm going to register this deck tomorrow. It is fantastically powerful linear game plan. I might jam it a bit more tomorrow, probably not on stream. And I think I'm going to be done for tonight. I'm tired from the last little chunk of time, sort of crunch time pre-tournament. And I want to be in the best shape I can for Saturday. So thank you, Alex, for dropping in and always being such an attentive watcher. I know you don't always have time. For anyone else who checks this out on YouTube, and thank you, Aspiringspike, for this awesome deck list. You can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. You can check me out by looking up Mana Symbol, Cymbal, like the instrument. Check out my results from this weekend playing Mono G Karn in Pioneer as part of my wonderful Team Trios team. Thanks for hanging out. Have yourself the very best night.